Well, welcome back to Study on Spotlight. So today we have two guests with us from Monash University. So we have Tim from the Medicine, Nursing and Health Science, and we have Shir from the Faculty of Law. Welcome. So, first of all, we have a lot to discuss today. But before we start, shall we introduce yourself and the faculty and programs you offer to our students?
Sure. Yes, so my name's Tim. I'm from the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences. I've worked at Monash for over a decade now in the faculty. I really enjoy promoting our courses and talking to students about what their interests and how they can shape their career. I'm really looking forward to today's session.
My name is Shir. I'm from the Faculty of Law. I've joined the faculty since 2019, and I'm super excited to be here at DADI to talk to you about some of the undergraduate law offerings that we have and also some postgraduate law courses that we have at Monash.
Right. So, Tim, you just mentioned there's a lot of programs that offer under your faculty. So could you introduce some of them, like the familiar ones that for our students or some that we might not be familiar but very interesting or might be, for our students?
Sure. So at Monash, we have most of the professional health courses. There's only a few we don't have. So we don't have dentistry, we don't have ophthalmology or veterinary science, but the rest we have. So PT, OT, nursing, midwifery, nutrition, psychology, medicine, biomedical science, health science, public health, and I've probably missed a couple there, like radiography. But yes, we have a full suite of courses that lead to lots of different career opportunities for Hong Kong students and other students around the world.
So within all these courses, what are the core subjects that the student will study? And if a student doesn't have a science background from high school, would that be a struggle for them when they get to the
So it really depends on which course they're applying for. So because we have a large suite of courses, we really have some course for everyone. So for example, yes, for medicine, you must have chemistry, right? And of course, for all our courses, you need to meet our English language requirements, which for some of our courses that lead to registration as a health professional, some of those English language requirements are a little bit higher than some of the standard courses. So for example, you might need a DSE score of 5 instead of 4, or you might need an IELTS score of 7 overall rather than 6.5. But chemistry is probably the main one across different courses. For physiotherapy, it can be a choice between 2 of biology, physics, chem and maths. For occupational therapy or psychology or health sciences, you just require the English. So any sort of biology knowledge, we will train you in the course for that. And for medicine too, a lot of students say, oh, you don't need biology, you only need chemistry. Yes, because we do studies on our students and we find that those who came in without chemistry found it difficult, but those who came in without biology were able to pick up the biology and still do quite well. So any student who applies without biology will provide a bridging program for them at the beginning of the course, so they're up to date with the knowledge.
Yeah, I see. But your medicine program is about a 5-year program, right?
Yes, and very popular in Australia because if you want to become a doctor directly from high school, our program is the quickest way to get there. So 5 years direct entry from high school, and then after you graduate, you do a 1-year internship, and then you can go on to become a resident and later specialise. So very popular both in Australia and internationally.
But if a student without biology, as you said, that they will provide a foundational courses for a student, would that be very intensive for a student just to study within 5 years?
Of course, like when they're in high school, if they've taken biology, we 100% recommend that, because if you're interested in how things work, then biology is a great course. However, it's a month before the course actually commences. They do the bridging program. So it allows those students some time to get their knowledge of biology up to date before they commence the medicine program.
Right, I see. What about the Faculty of Law? So what do you offer, and what about the entry requirement?
We have the Bachelor of Laws, which is 4 years an honours program, and we also have a double degree offering. So let's say you are tossing up between one of the courses in health sciences and you want to do law as well. There's the Bachelor of Law in Biomed Science. So that's for the undergraduate level. For postgraduate, we have the Masters of Law, which is catered for students who have law background. So perhaps law graduates from Hong Kong University or maybe in the UK, we've done UCL, and you're thinking to learn more about a specific specialization of law. You can come to our master's program and do the Masters of Law offering. We also have Juris Doctor, which is 3 years. Now, this is a course for non-law graduates. So perhaps you've already done a Bachelor of Nursing or radiography, and then you would like to become a lawyer in Australia. That is where you will pursue the Juris Doctor at Monash Law.
You just mentioned about the double degree with law. So apart from like maybe about medicine with law, what else? What are the offers like a student can consider?
Oh, that's a really good question. There's 13 double degree offerings that we have at Monash. The most popular ones, I would say, would be law and commerce, law and arts. We are seeing an uptick of students doing IT and law as well, because I guess everyone's really concerned about technology advances and how AI can impact our lives. So in my opinion, I think a law and computer science or law and IT would set yourself up for a for a career path when you graduate with us, because you have really two options, two sets of doors open for you. You can either become a lawyer or IT professional, or maybe combine the both worlds, both degrees, and become a lawyer who specializes in AI law. So I think I highly encourage students to think about having the double degree option, because it's not a lock-in contract. So even though you come into Monash and do a law and biomed science, if you struggle in either one of the courses, you're able to drop one. So, but it gives you that backup plan. Like maybe mom and dad really want you to do law, but deep down inside you want to do biomed science. So to ensure that both parties are happy, then we can opt for the double degree offering. Yeah. So and this is special news just for DADI, because next year we'll have a new double degree offering, which is law and architecture. So it's not announced yet publicly, but then you all got the first-hand deeds. Right,
we're gonna get the first-hand information out to our families. But speaking of which, the two faculties offer professional degrees that leading to a very professional career afterwards. So how the program is structured to prepare students for the career path like after graduating from Monash?
I think our courses that lead to registration as a health professional, they have a similar sort of structure. So they have a first and second year where you're learning a lot of foundation knowledge. So you're learning about how the human body works, like anatomy and physiology. And then you are also learning clinical skills at the university. So we have special clinical environments where you can practice on the simulated dummies, or sometimes they role play with students, but there's lots of opportunities to learn those clinical skills. And then after a couple of years, or sometimes after the first year, students will then start going out to our clinical partners, which are our hospitals, our health clinics, and different community centres. And they will be in real healthcare settings, and they will be shadowing health professionals, and they'll be putting into practice what they have learnt in those first couple of years. And they get supervision, they get people giving them advice and feedback about how they can perform some sort of procedure better. And this really helps them build the foundations of knowledge until they get to their final year. And their final year, they have to demonstrate competency at a level of a professional. And so once they've done that, then they graduate, they can get registered, and they can start working in many of those fields directly. Medicine's the only one with an internship, like physio, OT, nursing, midwifery, all these courses, you can go directly into the workforce and start earning a very good graduate salary and start your career as a health professional in that field. And they can do that in many fields. They can do that both in Australia, or they can also, for some of our fields, come back to Hong Kong as well.
I echoed what Tim has said about how at Monash we truly support the entire student experience, and from one angle we provide so many opportunities for students to get that real life work experience before they graduate. So at Monash Law we guarantee all our students a clinical legal education, which is like an internship program, and it's for credit. So it's not something that you do outside of your studies or of the curriculum. Is while you're studying with us for one unit, you can partake in either working within Monash faculty or outside of the faculty with law firms or businesses. Internally, our students get the opportunity to work at the Monash Law clinics. So if you're sick, you go see the doctor. So in Melbourne, if you come across any legal implications or issues, you can drop by one of our Monash Law clinics, whereby our students will be able to give you complimentary legal advice. And it gives our students a chance to really figure out what areas of law they want to practice in, because becoming a lawyer is not just becoming a commercial or corporate lawyer. There's so many industries that you can work in. I've got an international student who interned at the Melbourne Aviation Airport, specializing in legal and compliance frameworks for private jets coming into Australia. So I thought that was very interesting. It involves employment law as well, how you hire private cabin crew, pilots. So I really want to let parents and students know that having a law degree it's not a narrow career pathway option. There's so many areas of law you can use your degree and still become a successful lawyer. And you still can return to Hong Kong and practice law, because it's both civil and common law system. So in general, I think at Monash, we truly advocate in providing that holistic student experience, and helping them to get their career experience is our number one goal, because we want a ROI for the degrees. They've committed so much time and financially as well. So that's why we have made this huge commitment, first Australian law school, to guarantee all our students this legal experience.
And speaking of the legal experience, it's a requirement for being a licensed practice lawyer in Australia, right?
That is right. So once you complete your Bachelor of Law program, you need 1 year of work experience, and you can be admitted to the bar with no requirement to sit for the bar exam. And we acknowledge for international students, it could be difficult coming to a new country. Your network, your community is back at home, maybe in Hong Kong. So while you are going through this internship process, if you perform well, maybe the company might give you an offer before you graduate. And then that will help you fulfill the 1 year clerkship after graduation, which is required to be admitted to the Victorian bar.
Right, I see. So because we're mainly talking about the undergraduate care, but you previously touched on the Juris Doctor or the Master and the Doctor of Physiotherapy, as we said before we start the podcast. So if students they come from non-background, or maybe they want to change career path, so what do you offer and how students will paving their way to their dream job in Monash?
Yeah, good question. And it's not a simple answer, because it really does depend on the course. Obviously we like students to come from a similar background, but doesn't always have to be that way. For example, if you've done education, you can still go and study Master of Public Health. If you've done sort of like a biomedical science degree, that opens up a lot of doors, because the biomedical science degree, especially at Monash, covers all the areas of, understanding how the human body works, the nature of disease, how medicines help fight disease. So that course can pathway into courses such as Doctor of Podiatric Medicine. So a podiatrist is a lower leg specialist. And it's a role that's actually in huge demand in Australia. They can work in sports fields because a lot of sports people injure their lower legs. They can also work with children who might have some disability or injury. And they can also, I see on TikTok and Instagram, a lot of podiatrists recommending different types of shoes. Have you seen the different types of sports shoes depending on what sport you play and which ones provide the most support? Yes, that's the word. So that's important. Doctor of Physiotherapy is another great one. You do need some background in things like biostatistics. It doesn't have to be called biostatistics. It could be called medical statistics, or it could be an epidemiology unit. But you do need to have some background in that and some background in anatomy and physiology to go in to do the Doctor of Physiotherapy. But if you have that, or if you're just missing one unit, you can pick up a single unit and then you can apply. So the Doctor of Physiotherapy is a 3-year accredited program. It will get you registered as a physiotherapist. And right now, we have places available for our next semester intake. So if you are doing a course and you think, oh, wow, I'd love to jump to Australia in July and start a course in physiotherapy, now's a really great time because we still have some places left in that course. Yes.
I think the recent growth in the master's courses at Monash Law would definitely be the Masters of Law program. So I think with a lot of Hong Kong students, they will choose UK as their preferred choice for undergraduate law offerings. But we do see many applicants, especially from Hong Kong, doing the master's program with us. We are the only Australian law school that gives you the option of 1 year, 1.5 or 2 years LLM. And the difference is you need to ask yourself, would you like to remain in Australia and practice law? If so, you will need to take the 2 years Masters of Law program because it provides you the adequate number of units to fulfill 11 pre-C subjects to remain and become a practicing lawyer. But if you're looking for something that is more short-term and just perhaps a deep dive into a specific area of law like banking and regulations or technology and innovation, then you might want to consider the 1 year Masters of Law program where you come, study with us and return to Hong Kong. So this is, I would say, the recent trend for the past few years for the Masters of Law program. Juris Doctor would be more so for Hong Kong students who already have an undergraduate degree, maybe in accounting or commerce, and they feel that, I really want to become a lawyer right now. And then the only way they can do so is to pursue a postgraduate program with us, which is the JD program.
Right. Right. Of course, that's very important. They make a decision before they apply to target courses. But what if they enrolled into the program, and obviously there will be other elective subjects they need to choose. So any advice for students, how they should make a decision? What direction or how should they try? There's many options out there. How they should pick the elective.
I think for our courses, for the courses that lead to accreditation, there are not that many electives. There are very few because we have to meet the government requirements, satisfy those government requirements for competency in a large range of areas. So those courses have quite a prescriptive course map where you're doing this, and this, right? And then you're a nurse or a physiotherapist. However, we have other programs such as a Bachelor of Health Science, like we're talking about pathway programs, a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, even a Bachelor of Psychology, where there is a little bit more opportunities to take electives. And with electives, there's a couple of things you need to think about. One is, what are you planning to do a postgraduate course? And will these electives help you in your study for that postgraduate course, or are they prerequisites for that postgraduate course? So that's something you need to think about. The other thing is, what area do you, perhaps as a career, do you want to specialize in? So for example, you're doing the Bachelor of Biomedical Science, but you're really interested in neuroscience and you want to do research in this area. So then you can top up your biomedical science degree with units specifically related to neuroscience in that field. So that by the time you graduate and you want to do an honours year or a master's degree, you've got really good background and knowledge in that field. And so you're more prepared and you're more likely to have success in that field. Yeah.
You just mentioned about the prerequisite for like maybe the postgraduate program they want to study. So sometimes students might not realize, or maybe if they're studying in Hong Kong, they might want to pursue a degree, postgraduate degree in Australia. They may not realize there's a prerequisite. And what if they missed? You mentioned about maybe anatomy previously for the. Is there any other way to meet?
Yeah, so it depends on the course, but there's it is possible to pick up sometimes a single unit enrolment, or for say the Master of Nursing Practice or the Master of Occupational Therapy. You can pick up a short course in human biology, which Monash offers. So students can just enroll online and they just follow a textbook and they just have tests after each chapter. And then they complete that and then we can say, oh, okay, you've met that competency for that and we can let you into that program now. So you do need to check course by course. I wish there was just one answer, just one unit you could do online. But it does depend on the course. But some courses do allow you just to do an online unit, which is very convenient. Yes.
But it just student need to like do it in advance before meeting meeting the conditionals for the offers.
Yes, that's right. And it can't be done concurrently. It must be done in advance. Yes.
So that's something to watch out.
Yes.
For law, I guess you need to look at what your interests and what your passions are. So if let's say you like to ask your parents questions or keep asking them why, or if you enjoy debating, then perhaps you might want to look into mooting electives. So this is where we will train you up to be a advocate. And you'll be supervised or you'll be shadowing like a retired judge or barrister. So I personally think that that's a very good experience. Or if let's say your interest is in sports, we have electives in sports law as well. Yeah. Or if you are, if you care about the environment, we also have units in environmental law. So like what I mentioned earlier, if you look at any industry, you kind of need either a legal counsel or some kind of compliance or legal framework within the industry. So that's very interesting. But also reach out to the faculty if you have any issues in planning out your course map or your subjects, because we're here to help you. But if you don't say anything, then we won't know that something is bothering you or something is wrong. And also because we are we're the biggest Australian law society, and that community and supportive like peer-to-peer mentoring program I feel is very valuable as well. So in your first year we will pair you up with a mentor who's probably in their third or fourth year already, and this person can be giving you tips about studies, exam notes, or like which classes to avoid. And I love hearing their stories because they said like they ended up becoming the best of friends, right? Because having that supportive group to help you transit into law school in a foreign country, I think that experience is very valuable.
Yeah, I think like choosing the right path or something that you're really interested is very important, because you have the passion to do it. It's not something you kind of put yourself in. It's kind of like dragging yourself along.
Yes.
That's like
if
biggest
you
challenge.
If you hate like accounting and math, then don't do banking and finance law, right? As an elective.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, we just previously we talked about obviously we have the clinical practice for students to prepare for their later career life. But what else? How Monash University or the faculty is there any other innovations or any programs that is designed to encourage students to explore other real life problem or involve in other community project?
Yeah, so for our faculty, a lot of our 4-year degrees, they have a built-in honours year, right? And in that final year, they will do a research report. And often the research report is connected to one of the community, especially let's take OT, for example, right? it's connected to a community health practice, whether that's working with elderly people or people with a disability or a rehabilitation clinic. And they will look at that and the students might have seen a problem or an issue while they've been doing their placement there. And so they thought, okay, well, that's interesting. Maybe this is something we should explore more. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Maybe we can overcome this problem by developing some better way, some better process, so that the people there get a better experience. And so they developed that as part of their honours year. They produce this and they produce posters, and at the end of the year, they invite people along to have a look at their research. And it's really interesting, and really, like, a lot of our students come up with really, as you said, innovative ideas how to improve healthcare. And that's at Monash, that's in our faculty, that's one of our biggest areas. Like, one of our goals is to improve the human condition, whether that's through research, whether that's from changing and implementing best practice, or just producing better graduates who are able to provide better healthcare or more suitable graduates. So that sort of holistic view of improving the human condition flows through to those students who are doing those research projects in their final year. And yeah, it's very impressive, some of the ideas that they come up with. Yeah.
Will they do it in a group or like individually?
Sometimes they do in a group, but sometimes it's individual as well.
At Monash Law, students do have the chance to partake in competitions. So it could be mooting or debating competitions globally as well. Or we also participate in legal hackathons, where they work with students from other faculties to solve an issue that's happening in the legal industry in Australia. So that's pretty interesting, because not just it allows students to work with counterparts from maybe IT or business, and maybe engineering if it's to do with software development, but giving that the all-rounded experience in creating an idea, and then setting up their own startup, I would say, and then pitch the idea to a panel of judges, and the journey has been very rewarding for them, because then it opens up their eyes, educates them about how to think about what's happening in this world and how we can make this world a better place, and creating a solution for it. So I think that experience that is outside of the curriculum, but also very beneficial in terms of helping them build up that employability skill set needed, when they graduate. We also have the Law Ambassador program, where students get together and pitch to, again, a panel of judges about an idea that they have. It can be very outrageous, like for example, having robots to replace judges, or I can't remember, there was like a product they were trying to sell, whereby instead of having lawyers, they will get this software to answer all your questions and maybe help you go through that legal proceedings. Because if you're in a complex legal case, there's so many steps, so much information that you need to digest. But having this product will help you cut through all the noise and help you make decisions. So something like ChatGPT, but for law, yes.
Yeah, right.
So it just helps students to think like far ahead what they can contribute. Like maybe not currently, but maybe 5 or 10 years. What is a good idea to pitch?
Well, speaking of like AI technology, how's that shape like the program and the students' learning experience like nowadays? Like, because surely the student will be getting plenty of sources of like AIs and stuff. So
yeah, I think it's a good question, and obviously parents are thinking about this a lot, and students too. I think the students are more relaxed about it. So, for example, my son, who's doing second year radiography at Monash, he uses AI to help him condense notes and to be more organized in his studies. So it's like an enhancement tool that helps him, or sometimes he might use it to summarize some large body of text, and that helps him with his study, with his time management and those type of things. But it doesn't replace his knowledge. It's not it can't do the course for him. He still has to sit in-person exams. He still has to go attend clinical placements. And there was a question about radiography. It's like, oh, will AI replace radiography? Because we've heard that AI can look at an X-ray image or an MRI, CT scan and detect disease very well. But what AI can't do is it can't communicate with a patient who might be in pain or who might need assistance to move into the right position. Because when you're taking an X-ray or that, it's very important that you get the patient in the right position. But the patient might be, because they've got an injury, might be in a lot of pain. So you have to do it in a very delicate and caring way. And so that you both get the image, but you're not traumatizing or hurting that patient. So AI can't really, at this stage, help with that human side of it. And healthcare is very human focused. It's a very human-to-human area. But we see AI enhancing a lot of what we do. We see AI enhancing our research capabilities, being able to help us explore and understand big data better, and so that we can get the answers quicker than previously. So in all areas, AI is sort of an enhancement, but not a replacement for what we do. It helps students, but it won't let them pass. If they don't do the work, they still won't pass. If they're not competent when they go into placement, they're still not going to pass. So it helps, it's great, but it's just one part of what we do in healthcare.
It's very important to get a boundary where to use it and how to enhance your study attitude as well, but not overuse to abuse the advantage of it. But what about law?
This is also a reflection at the Faculty of Law. So we see AI as a tool, like an enhancement tool. Like maybe previously you have to go to the library and read through 20 books to get all your research up, but then now you have AI to have do the research part and also to summarize the key points for your argument, because you still need to put forward your argument in the legal cases. And also AI can't replace ethics. That is a very crucial area in law, because it's all about ethics, right? And we don't foresee AI being able to have the ability to replace that human ethics component. And also AI in every country has different rules and framework. So for example, in Vietnam now, they have banned the usage of AI unless it's being shadowed or monitored by like a human.
Right.
So when you use AI to generate like chat conversations or give advice, which many companies do so now, but Vietnam is one of the Southeast Asian countries to step up and say that you need a human to sort of regulate what goes out, like what advice goes out. So maybe now AI is very helpful, but you never know, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, the government might take a different approach and regulate the usage of AI, especially in very important industries like medicine or pharmaceutical. So we definitely see AI as a supporting tool for our students to build up the research component of the studies, but definitely not replace that critical thinking and the application of theories in their work.
Right, I see. So there's a huge debate, a huge area to debate on this.
Yes.
But before we wrap up, so shall we share about a little bit about student life in Monash? So
yes.
My favorite part.
Well, I think it's not just in Monash; it's in Melbourne as well, isn't it? I mean, it's a great city to live. I was brought up in Melbourne, and I love certain parts of it. I'll let Shia talk about the eating out and the food choices.
Clearly, I'm the foodie.
Yeah, you're the foodie, and but I love Melbourne. There's a huge. I'm a big sports fan. So for Melbourne, we have a lot of large sports events like the Australian Tennis Open, the Formula One Grand Prix. We have our local sport, which is Australian rules football, and we also have soccer and lots of other different sports. So we have lots of sports, lots of really great culture too, like music scene is fantastic. Yes, my daughter loves to go out and see bands play. She's always going to see new bands, but there's a range of different nightlife you can see and concerts. My son goes out to concerts as well. He loves them. I think, it's just a great place. Beautiful parks and gardens, really great galleries if you're a culture vulture and you like a bit of art. I think that's great. So I think our students do take advantage of that. And the Monash campus itself is very vibrant. We have a lot of different restaurants there, and students, for example, there's Monash, because it's such a big university, can offer a huge range of clubs and societies. So, for example, we have the Monash Medical Orchestra, because a lot of our medical students have got talents across the field, and many of them are very musically talented. And so they have their own orchestra and they play, and they're brilliant. They're really brilliant. And then we have the Biomedical Science Society, and those biomedical science students, they organise, 3 or 4 big get-togethers, evenings out, formal dress type events, which is fantastic and really makes the university experience that much richer. So I think those students, they really enjoy that. I mean, at Monash, we even had I think it's still going, a Quidditch club from Harry Potter, yes. So they would get out their broomsticks and they would...
And then run around.
I would like to say they fly around, but you are right. They run around with their broomsticks and try to catch the snitch.
Right.
Yeah, so so we even have that. There's almost every club you could think of at Monash, and it's certainly a very rich experience to join those clubs and to enjoy it. Like my son, he plays social soccer every Friday in mixed teams, and he loves that. So he'll stay on campus a bit later to play down on our sports fields, and he really enjoys that. But maybe you can tell us more about the great food and other great things about Melbourne.
I was an international student as well, and I've chosen Melbourne as my final destination because I think, like Tim said, it's so rich in culture, rich in nature as well. It's really good balance because Melbourne CBD is so accessible. You can catch the public transport and then you can do your shopping in Melbourne CBD and then catch the train or the tram and head on to St Kilda Beach where you can enjoy nice views of the ocean.
Maybe see a penguin.
I was just gonna say, we recently renovated the St Kilda Pier, so you can go there and see penguins at during evening or night time, and you can see baby penguins everywhere. It's so cute. But at the Faculty of Law, we organize so many social engagements for our students as well. I think 2 years ago, I brought the students up to Phillip Island again to see penguins. And we organize pizza sessions, movie nights, and also connecting them to industry. So we've organized tours to law firms or coffee catch up with a specific lawyer or a retired judge or barrister who happens to be at the campuses, because we have 2 campuses at Clayton and at the law chambers. And I think students really enjoy it because studying law, studying medicine, one of the courses in your faculty can be quite challenging. So we want to provide that social aspect as well, so that students can really transit well into their life in Australia. And I mean, many moons later, I'm still here. I'm still advocating for higher education in Melbourne. So I think it's a really nice place to live, play, and study, and now working.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shin. Thank you, Tim, for sharing with us today. So if our families and any student interested in Monash, especially in the medicine, nursing, and health science and the law faculties, feel free to contact us or contact Tim and Shin for further information. So, thank you so much today for
Thanks
joining
for
us.
Thank you. It was great.
So we'll see you next time, and you too as well. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.